With just 4 days to go before the final major contest of the 2016 primary season, we are witnessing some of the worst that America has to offer, as Donald Trump supporters find themselves being attacked by violent mobs. And some on the left try to excuse these attacks by blaming the candidate himself. Welcome, everyone, to the Kelly File. I'm Trish Regan, in for Megyn Kelly tonight. There's new reaction tonight to the ugly display we witnessed last night in San Jose, California, where anti-Trump protesters took out their fury on his supporters. This is just a little of what transpired. Watch.
She's egging him on, yeah. She's egging him on. Oh my God! Throwing eggs at her.
Afterwards, the two Democratic presidential campaigns largely remained silent on this matter. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders only addressing it when directly questioned. As for some political commentators, they appeared to suggest this is just no big deal. Watch.
Let's just not get carried away. You know, in the United States, this kind of protest has gone on for hundreds of years. It's not that big a deal. So a bunch of people, like the guy got his hat knocked off. One person getting hurt is unacceptable, but it's one person. I just don't think anybody should, think that this is a bigger deal than it is.
As for the Donald himself, today, he said this.
Crowd, it was absolutely incredible. And it was a love fest inside. We had just an amazing time. And that was it. And we wrapped up. Everybody was cheering like crazy for forever. Then they walk out and they get accosted by a bunch of thugs burning the American flag. Burning the American flag. And you know what they are? They're thugs.
In just a moment, we'll discuss this with Trump spokesperson Katrina Pearson and radio show host Richard Fowler. But first, we begin with Trace Gallagher reporting from our West Coast newsroom. Trace.
And Trish, even if you take eyewitness testimony out of what happened during the Trump rally in San Jose and just stick with what was documented on videotape, there were numerous violent attacks against Trump supporters by Trump protesters. Some supporters were pelted with eggs. At least one man was sucker punched as he tried to walk away, and another man was blindsided and bashed in the head with a heavy bag. The man who took the video of the bag attack says old people were also getting knocked to the ground and having their Trump hats stomped on. He thinks San Jose police backed off for too long. Watch.
When this man in the yellow shirt was coming out, there were several officers who did not intervene when the crowd started rushing at him, spitting on him, and pushing him. And, you know, I don't know what the reason for that is.
Today, the police came out and said the reason they didn't intervene sooner is because they feared it would incite more violent behavior. But the mayor of San Jose, Sam Liccardo, a Democrat who supports Hillary Clinton, said his police department did an extraordinary job. He blames Trump for coming to cities and igniting problems that police have to deal with, telling the Associated Press, quoting, "At some point, Donald Trump has to take responsibility for the irresponsible behavior of his campaign." In a follow-up statement today, the mayor again blamed Trump for stirring the pot, but finally denounced the violence against Trump supporters. And Hillary Clinton echoed that by condemning both the violence and Trump. Watch.
This has to end. He set a very bad example. He created an environment in which it seemed to be acceptable for someone running for president to be inciting violence, to be encouraging his supporters.
Bernie Sanders also weighed in, calling Trump reprehensible, but saying we can't defeat him by throwing eggs. And finally, there's the media influence. Emmett Renson, a deputy editor at Vox, which is a left-leaning news website, has urged people to riot if Donald Trump comes to town. Renson has now been suspended. Trish.
Thanks so much, Trace. Joining us right now with reaction to the events, Katrina Pearson, national spokesperson for the Trump campaign, and Richard Faller, a nationally syndicated radio talk show host and senior fellow at the New Leaders Council. Richard, I'll start with you. Why don't we see liberals act more aggressively when it comes to condemning violence like this?
Well, what we saw in San Jose, what we saw a couple nights ago in Berkeley, it's wrong, right? Violence should never be tolerated. But what should be allowed is peaceful protest, people saying and speaking their mind. That's our First Amendment right. And that's what those folks are doing. When they go to violence, it's wrong, and they should be arrested. They're thugs. It's awful.
And
We've seen Hillary Clinton say that. We've seen Bernie Sanders say that. We've seen Democratic we've seen senators say that.
It took them a while.
Over what they said it, though,
Bernie Sanders,
Trish.
just moments ago, said something in response when he was asked about it. Hillary Clinton needed to be asked about it. Katrina Pearson, why aren't the two leading candidates in the Democratic Party coming out, taking a stand and saying enough with the violence?
Well, you know, Trish, it's simple. The media is not asking them to. This started with the Chicago rally. We know for a fact there were left organizations participating in this. Bill Ayers himself was there and reporting on the ground. MoveOn.org was involved. Black Lives Matter was involved. There were tons of left organizations since that rally, and these protests have done nothing but escalated. And you played a clip earlier that was absolutely right. These types of intimidation tactics have gone on in this country for years, and it's always by the left. And somehow they want to put the blame on Donald Trump.
Stop.
And we're just not going to let that happen.
Let me jump in and just ask you, Katrina, if it had been supporters for Donald Trump that were out at a Hillary Clinton campaign rally, and if they had acted like that, if they had thrown eggs at someone, if they were burning flags, if they were insulting police, how would things be different right now?
Well, first of all, there'd be a petition to have Donald Trump withdraw from the race and everybody else fired. A Trump supporter could have just a sign that the left doesn't like, and all of a sudden they'll be labeled all these things or even attacked for that matter. There is a double standard in this country. And look, we have known for a very long time in this presidential race right now, it was going to be one that was going to pit race against race and gender against gender.
I got to interrupt here, Trish. I've got to interrupt.
Why is it so absurd what Katrina's saying?
The only person inciting violence and inciting hatred here is Donald J. Trump. First, he made fun of a disabled journalist. Then he kicked journalists out the press pool.
That's violence?
Then he went after.
Violence?
Then he went. Wait, let me finish. Then he told one of his supporters to punch him in the face, and I will pay the legal bills. That is what I call not only an assault on our Constitution, but an assault on what we stand for as Americans. And
why is
Katrina
it,
should know this, and everybody else should know
Let me
this.
jump in.
In
Why
America,
is it that
you're
we do not
responsible for
see,
your
hang on,
own
Katrina.
actions.
Well, the
Why do
candidate
we
should
not
never
see-
say you should punch somebody in the face.
Why do we
And
not
that's what he
see
said.
Trump supporters
Quote.
acting like that at Hillary Clinton rallies or Bernie Sanders rallies? It's only the Bernie and Hillary supporters that are
Here's
acting
why.
like that at his rallies.
Here's absolutely why. Because what Trump is inciting is hatred against minority groups. He's inciting hatred against African Americans, hatred against Muslims.
Hatred?
He's an assault to...
Hatred?
Yes, hatred. When you say you don't want
What is
Muslims to come to
hatred?
this country, when you say you want a judge
That's
taking
not
off
what
a
he said.
case because his parents happen to be Mexican, that is the definition of hatred, Katrina. Maybe you don't read Webster's, but it's the definition.
Hey, Richard.
Yes.
So are you saying that ethnicity has no place in the justice system? So are you ready to denounce Black Lives Matter tonight?
I'm saying that ethnicity should the justice is supposed to be a blind thing. That's the scales of justice. Lady justice is supposed to be blind.
But you support Black Lives Matter. You supported Ferguson.
I do, and because of black. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I absolutely do. I absolutely do.
Richard,
And
we
what we're
should start with exactly what you said in the beginning, which is that you don't condone violence, and I'll tell you, the entire Democratic Party shouldn't condone it either.
Donald
We're going to leave it there.
Trump does,
Thank you so
Trish.
much.
Donald Trump
Both of
does.
you. Also,
Yes, he
good night,
does.
everyone. Speaker.